Read every day, lead a better life. It's a line borrowed from Scholastic, and I liked it. Good Day Wisconsin is going to help you find some good reads for yourself to share with your friends, your book clubs, and helping us out is the Brown County Library. Sandy Kalunke is here. And the theme today, World War II books. And why did you pick that, Sandy?
Well, there are so many really good books right now available about World War II, both fiction and nonfiction. And as I was skimming through our Books for Books Club's list, these four caught my eye because three of them are among the best books I've read in the past 4 or 5 years, and the fourth one I'm in the middle of reading.
Okay, well, my book club tends to pick World War II books a lot, and one of them is The Book Thief. That was, I think it's one of my most favorite books now, and my daughter has read it too because teens are reading it in classrooms. So talk a little bit about The Book Thief.
A lot of adults might have missed it because it was marketed towards teens and young adults.
It's in the young adult section.
And it's still, I think, #9 on the New York Times bestseller list for teen books, and it's been on that list for 7 years. So it's getting more and more actually attention as it gets older.
Why did you like it so much?
Well, I think it's unique because of the way it's narrated, and you've read the book.
It's narrated by Death.
Yes.
Which is unique, and it sounds weird, but it's, I think, beautiful.
And Death actually becomes a sympathetic figure, and it takes place in Germany just before and during World War II, where of course Death is understandably very busy. But he becomes intrigued by a young girl named Liesel Menninger. He first observes her when her younger brother dies.
Right.
And then he encounters her a couple of other times, and the whole story of life during World War II kind of unfolds through her eyes, but narrated by Death, because at the end of it, and during the story, she writes her own story.
Yeah, it's really...
And he retrieves the book that she writes out of the trash and reads it over and over again. So that's how he is able to tell such a wonderfully complete story of this young girl.
We could talk about The Book Thief for an hour. I know you have it on audio too at the library, and you say that's really
it's very, this is the way I actually first, I read it, but I first listened to it on audio. It's very, very well done. And it's also, this is a title that you can get digitally, you can download digitally also.
Let's talk about the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society.
Well, that book is much lighter. It's also set during and immediately after World War II. It's told entirely through letters, very witty and endearing letters, which is kind of a lost art. The main character receives a letter as a surprise from a total stranger, a man named Dawsey, who lives on the island of Guernsey, which was occupied by the Nazis during the war and has been totally cut off from the rest of the world. And so immediately after the war, he has a used book that used to be owned by Juliet, and her name and address is in the flyleaf. And so he writes her a letter and asks for her help in getting more books by this particular author. And he mentions that during the war he was part of the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society.
Okay.
And so, I mean, how can you not write back and ask more about that?
Yeah,
and so that's kind of the starting point with that one.
Well, very fun. These are 4 books that you can get lost in or share with your book clubs. The other 2, Outstealing Horses and Unbroken. They're all part of a list you can find on our website, on the library's website, and they're available, of course, at the library. And thanks so much, Sandy, for being here. We'll post those later on Good